My questions for all of you guys, which is amazing. Thank you for our fun weekend. You guys totally blew it out of the park. I can't wait to see what the franchise has in store for us. But if you were all betting people in a three-way battle royal for clowns, Art the Clown, Pennywise, or Killer Clowns from Outer Space, who's winning?
Art!
Pennywise. Sorry, I love Tim Curry, Dave. All Art would have to do to Pennywise is I would say Stu. Stu would do it. Yeah.
David stole my answer.
There was also a question about Elliot. So he just answered for...
As you can tell, he doesn't talk enough in the movie, so on the panel he has a little bit of his words in.
Thank all of y'all for being here and for being so wonderful all weekend and creating such wonderful masterpieces of cinema. But my question is for David. Having watched Terrifier 2 now upwards of 20 some times,
That's it.
but I must say it's a very beautiful movie. I know George Stewart had a lot to do with that.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
But my question is, I know like a lot of scenes, there's red and blue lighting that contrast in a lot of scenes. Especially like in Sienna's room when they come in, like one wall will be red, one wall will be blue. Is that just for aesthetic purposes, or does it have a deeper meaning?
It's pretty much for aesthetic for the most part. Like her room, I really wanted to give it a very 80s sort of neon. And I love just using lots of colors, sort of the way Dario Argento uses them in a lot of his movies. Yeah, I love the way Suspiria, I love this one of my favorite horror movies. But just, I love making this movie. Like you said, I appreciate that, by the way, and George really knocked it out of the park. But it doesn't, Terrifier 2 especially, does not look really like a horror movie. And that's one of the alley scene in most movies that would be shot in a very dark room with heavy shadows and stuff, and just to shoot it in a very bright room with yellow walls, makes it really disturbing. So yeah, it was definitely intentional to have the film look different than your average horror movie. Thanks, Mike.
Greetings.
Hello.
For you. Sorry, not Mark. If it's not too much of a spoiler for Terrifier 3 with the whole light versus dark supernatural stuff, are we gonna get anything more expanded on the supernatural proxies? Because we have Jonathan, all that interesting external stuff, and they're basically unable to really do anything about their place in their world of the main characters. So are there going to be other people, some kid in China that starts getting weird shit going on?
They all want to know. That's a great question. I mean, boy, I gotta be careful. You're really, again, we set up so many questions and so many bizarre things in Terrifier 2, and none of that is sort of arbitrary. It's all there by design, and I am going to start elaborating more and giving all the answers as to what's going on. So, what I can tell you is, in one regard, I want the atmosphere of Terrifier 3 to feel more like Terrifier 1. I want to try and make it the darkest, grittiest, and a little more simplified. But at the same time, you're still carrying over everything from Terrifier 2, the supernatural and the fantasy. So it's gonna feel like something completely fresh at the end of the day. But we really are gonna explore a lot more of the supernatural. Not even just the way it's affecting the villains, but the way it's sort of affecting Sienna as well. So yeah.
Yay. And then off topic-ish, Elliot, for your music, do you have any specific like people that you look up to for it, or like your sound?
That's a great question. I would say I have a tattoo, Elliott Smith. You could wear Radiohead, I have Duster, Nazi Star. I can go on forever and ever. But that's a wonderful question.
Thanks.
Hey guys, thank you for coming. I love you guys at the cons and all like that. Dave, we got a question. First of all, keep doing you. Don't sell out. Don't do like the Friday the 13th franchise with the whole issue that they've been having. You know, keep it under your belt so you control everything. With the cutscene at the end with Chris Jericho, will we see Art at full strength to take out Chris Jericho?
I can't say, but you are going to see what transpires in the insane asylum, and it is insane.
And then I got another question. If the pale girl, if you caught her eating the mashed potatoes out of the mother's head, would you have been disturbed?
Say that one more time.
She ate the props.
Right.
If she was actually eating the props out of mom's head, would you have been disturbed?
No, I wouldn't have that. You were all so delusional, delirious.
Hi, I just want to say I love movies so much, I love you all so much, I just can't thank you all enough. My question is, so we all love a good crossover, Freddy vs. Jason, Alien vs. Predator. If you could do Terrifier versus Blade with no legal trouble, which would you pick?
I don't mind. I would definitely have him go up against Freddy or team up with Freddy because they both have great senses of humor that can feed off of one another, and they're both both operating in a supernatural realm, so to speak, at this point. So I think you could really make that work.
Yes.
I like the idea, since they're both silent characters, of Art going up against Nick Cage's character from Willy's Wonderland. A whole silent movie is getting fired.
I think Damien answered it for me.
Art going up against Michael Myers, because we did that in the box office as well, so I'd like to see that.
Art opinions.
My question is for Damien. Do you think that Art is ever going to be in any video games like Dead by Daylight, for example?
We would love that to happen, and they're very much aware of us, and they even know that we're willing to be in the game. So they really just have to contact us and reach out to us. I would love that. There's also interest in just creating a Terrifier game. Something's bound to happen. Finish it.
Hey, how's it going? So I just have a quick question that's essentially, which final girl out of any franchise, of course, can't count Sienna, she's already won. So like the question is, who do you think else could defeat Art the Clown?
Ripley.
Yeah, Ripley.
I agree. I mean, even when Damien came to me with Sienna, Ripley was a huge inspiration for him, so I agree with that.
Ditto.
Final girl?
Ripley is
Oh shit, it wasn't the final girl. I think Nancy might have a good, because she's dealt with Freddy, who's kind of similar to Art, right, in ways. That would be interesting.
Cool, thank you so much.
You guys have been
such an amazing project. So how does it feel to have Art the Clown become a new horror icon that's up there with characters like Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger?
It's insane. It's insane. I'm just honored. Wow.
It's surreal. I mean, listen, we don't go around saying that. I love to hear you guys say that. That's the biggest honor in the world. And all I can say is we don't take any of this for granted, and we know how special this is and what a special opportunity this is for us. And I can promise you, we'll never phone in one of these movies, and we'll always give it our all and try and deliver the most badass movie imaginable.
So when I describe Art the Clown to my friends who've not seen Terrifier, he's like vaudeville from hell on crack. So, what is your inspiration for Art? Because he's so unique as a killer. He has flourishes, he's elaborate, he's dramatic. You said you've drawn from other killers in other movies. Is there a particular style that you channel for Art?
He comes from a lot of places. I mean, first of all, I gotta give mad props to Mike down here because he's give this man a ball. Mike down here. He set such a solid foundation for me. He made my job so much easier because even before I knew about the auditions for Terrifier, I had seen All Hallows Eve and I was in love with the character then. I was like, oh my God, I love this character. I would love to have a chance to play a character like that. And I had so many ideas in my head about how I would play him. And what I wanted to do was bring a little bit more of the clowning aspect to him because that's always been my area. I've always done slapstick comedy, and I grew up with a great appreciation for the great vaudevillian and silent film actors. I love great physical comedians, so I was watching the old Marx Brothers movies, and Charlie Chaplin movies, at an early age. I was watching, of course, Chip Carey, John Ritter, yes. Peter Sellers, the great Pink Panther movies, love those. But also my aunt, when I was 13, gifted me a box set of Mr. Bean videos. I would sit there and just watch them over and over and over, and I had always wanted a chance to play a character like Mr. Bean. And I saw that when I saw Mike's version of Art back then. I was like, that's what I can do with that. It's bring more like a Mr. Bean, mischievous type of scamp character to this guy. And I dug into that, and I also had a great mentor for 5 years on the national tour of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical. I was understudy to Stephen Carl, who many people might remember as Robbie Rotten from the show Lazy Town. He was an amazing mentor because I had always just learned from watching other great physical comedians. I had never had anybody that actually studied that in depth in college. And he was able to take me aside as his understudy. He's like, okay, I love what you're doing, but this is how you make it better. So when I was contacted to play Art, I went to Stephen immediately. He's like, hey, I'm going to be playing this character. And it's because we both would bond over Mr. Bean and all those other great physical comedians. And he's like, oh, this is how you approach it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so you can actually probably watch my portrayals as Art and look at some Robbie Rotten videos, and you'll see some similarities between the two, because I put a lot of what Steph taught me into Art. And of course, I put a lot of my great appreciation for great villains that came before, a lot of Freddy. I put a little bit, because I look at Art as like an amalgamation of all these great horror icons that came before him. He is like the love letter to the slasher genre. And so I put all those guys in there and put a little bit of Joker in that too.
Thanks so much.